Return to Butta. I am your host, Critical.
It's your boy Gweezy Butter, and today's topic is called mental imprisonment.
Yes.
Hey, what is mental imprisonment?
Mental imprisonment can come from two different ways. Either you decide to put yourself in mental imprisonment, or you have experienced imprisonment or incarceration, and you become what is called incarcerated or
mental institutionalized. Institutionalized.
Institutionalized. Yes.
A lot of people familiar with that sign. I mean, that saying, institutionalized.
Yes, because what is institutionalized? Institutionalized is when you become handicapped. You can't think. You don't move on your own. You're told when to get up, where to go, how to act, and all that. Then, if you're treated that way long enough, you become mentally imprisoned, because without them telling you what to do, you don't do anything yourself.
Facts.
You'll go into your cocoon or whatever it is, your safety zone or comfort zone, and then often you'll become miserable because no one wants to be in your mental prison.
Yeah, mental prison is really, really serious. It's a lot of people that box themselves in that. You know, when you decide to get out of that, that's when you start to win. Otherwise, than that, you'll be stuck. So yeah, make sure y'all get up out that mental imprisonment. Don't be boxed in.
And it could go just as one of them old experiments. You know, psychiatrists and psychologists, they talk about an experiment about the Mexican jumping fleas. You know, Mexican jumping fleas can jump approximately 4 feet.
Jumping fleas?
Yes, they're called Mexican jumping fleas, but they can jump approximately 4 feet, maybe.
Oh, okay? Jesus, I don't want them on me.
But check this out. Now, the experiment goes, they put these jumping fleas inside of an aquarium, and they put a top over it. So you have a lot of them who want to jump all the way, to their full potential. And they try to, and they bust their head. Some of them die. The other ones observe, and they learn to not jump to their full potential. So after they're in there for so long, they notice all the other ones that died and bumped their head from trying to jump to their potential. They dumb themselves down. So they only jump 2 feet. Now, the experiment goes, they take the cover off the top. Now these jumping fleas will never jump or reach their high potential or their highest potential, because they have been conditioned not to reach their highest potential.
All right, so these are fleas that stop reaching their highest potential by because they went through an experiment, and so they straight stopped jumping. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is what happens to us. We put ourselves in a mental prison because we've been conditioned not to reach for our full potential.
Wow. The history of jumping fleas. Man, you always give me some stuff I never heard of. The jumping fleas. I never heard of jumping fleas, but hey, I've heard of it today.
Read about it. I didn't hear of it until I, came across the study. There's a lot of experiments and things they do to control.
Wow.
And getting the person to be in a mental prison, institutionalized, you can control them in that order.
An experiment, a scientist placed a number of fleas in a glass jar. They quickly jumped out. He then put the fleas back into a jar and placed a glass lid over the top. The fleas began jumping and hitting the glass lid, falling back down into the jar. I don't know. I probably need to go a little bit deeper than that.
Well, I mean, it's the same concept.
It's the same concept of what you were
A
saying.
little different, but it's
Yeah.
the same concept. Once he removed the barrier off the top, they will never jump out of the glass again.
Right, that's what he just said. It's like fleas in the jaw, similarity in fleas in human behavior.
Exactly.
That's what they did the experiment on, like it was in human behavior. And so it's a lot of people in the world that's straight so boxed in that don't want to go nowhere. I never forget I had met this girl a long time ago, and she was like, I don't cross the bridge. I don't go to East St. Louis. I say, well, that's be last time you see me, because you can't even go across the bridge. So I know you ain't trying to live no good life.
I know that's right. And it's the same way with you knows how we have individuals who will not go out of their neighborhood. Oh, we don't go on the west side. We don't go on the east side or the north side.
Yeah,
Why not?
They done in the streets.
Yeah, who told you can't do that? You have put yourself in a mental prison.
Now you put yourself in a box.
Yeah, that's a mental prison.
Yep.
4 walls.
4
You know,
walls.
I had an old song, a rap song back when I was rapping. It started out saying, "Damn, I'm all alone in my 4-corner hell cell." And that's basically what it is, a hell cell. You're just in there. And some people break all the way down and they just get stuck there because they don't know how to break out of that. Now, I know it's going to come out, and we're going to eventually talk about, I did my stint in prison. And one thing that helped me to not become institutionalized or get into that box is that I refused to accept their program. When they came to count, I was already up praying. They didn't have to ring the bell to wake me up and tell me get up so we can count you. I'm already up. I see you when you're coming, because I'm not going to confine to that program. Now, I will follow the rules as much as possible, but I'm not going to be, allow them to create who I am.
Right.
By conditioning me with institutionalization.
Yeah, I got a friend who did a lot of time, man, and he did a lot of time. He come right back out of jail. He been going in and out of jail since we was 13 years old. He come out of jail. He come right back out of jail, and he go right to the first, not even 24 hours. He go right back to the drugs, and then he went from the drugs to right to the hospital bed because he OD'd, because he was trying to just. It's like he just, I don't know. He just don't care. And I'm talking about this, and he's straight literally a free man now. But it's like he got to do some drugs. He got to do something crazy just because his mind can't think no farther than that, and he just been lying the whole time, like, I'm coming out, I'm coming to do this, I'm coming to do that. But as soon as he get out, he do something to really try to put himself right back in there, or either put himself in the deathbed, and he almost met both of them. So he got the drugs, and he was back on the drugs in less than 24 hours after he did 9 years straight. I mean, he did like 30 years in his life in that motherfucker. So yeah, man, it's crazy. A lot of people just don't know how to let go of them old ways and how to get up out of that box. Some people just be really stuck there, man. No matter how it may seem, even though he got out and got to see the world, see his kids and all of that, his mind is still stuck in the same place. So like if you stuck in the same place, like you got the same mentality, that's the same thing as being stuck in a box, correct? If you got the same mentality that you keep having, that keep getting you in trouble or sent in jail or in the hospital, that's the same thing, correct?
Yes, because you will never reach your full potential anymore. You have been conditioned that this is the highest level you're going to go. That's it. See, now there are individuals who have gone through that and they refuse to accept that. Those are the ones who make it, because they refuse to be conditioned on the level in which they were on. Now, they talk about how they want people to get out of those places and do better. However, the system is not designed for them to do better. The system is designed to put them in that box, because them being in that box puts food on their table. Now, you will find none of them will tell you, oh, I really care about them so much that I'll do this voluntarily. Only people do that are the volunteers that come in and do what they do, and some of them get paid as well. But the fact remains, anybody who's involved in the correctional system or the jails or the legal system, they make their living off of you being in that condition. So you must be conditioned. You must have that ceiling put on you so you will know that you cannot go above this.
Right.
So that's why I look for those who, like one brother ran for president 1 year. He was a gang leader. He had a whole bunch of time in prison. He got out, started a ministry and a legal firm and everything, and then he ran for president, which nobody would expect a brother to do nothing like that has been incarcerated.
You know his name?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember it because I quit dealing with him at the time. But I mean, I can get the facts. I should have had those facts if I brought it up, but I don't remember his name. But the reason I met him is because during the time when I was not doing well and I was looking for a job, and I did a lot of things voluntarily, and I put out a post in social media stating that I was looking for a job that pays because no one wanted to pay me. They wanted me to do the work. I did a lot of good work, but they didn't want to pay me. So I put this out, and this guy,
he's a black man?
Yes, sir. He contacted me, and he offered me to work with him in his campaign and everything, but still, there was no money. But the fact is that he had transformed his life.
Yeah.
From being a gang leader.
He got out that box.
Yes, he came out that box because he realized that he had reached the pinnacle of that. He had reached the top of that. And it was over. And the end result was prison. So now you got to start all over and create a whole new individual. Now, if you break for a minute, I'll go get his name.
That's fine. We're gonna take a break so we can talk about this guy.
Yes, sir. Yes. Now, as I was saying, this young man, his name is Andy Williams Jr. And he ran for president, and he was an ex gang member, leader. I mean, he went to prison for, here's something about him. A convicted felon, former drug dealer, and gang leader is running for president. Westmount, Illinois, United States. Wow. Okay?
Andy Hope Jr. That's his name, Andy Hope Jr.?
Andy Williams. They got him as a hood candidate and all that. Andy Williams Jr. If you can type me in convicted felon. I got this up on the EIN news desk. I don't know how it came up. I just typed it in Google and it came up. Convicted felon and former gang leader turned activist and minister, Andy Williams Jr. is running for president. He was a disciple.
Yep, he's a disciple.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, here's the thing. This is the type of mentality you have to have if you don't want to be in a mental prison. So
the hood candidate for president, that's what it say?
Yes, sir. He was a hood candidate for president.
Shout out to the hood candidate for president, man. Shout out to that brother, man, for doing what he do. I see him. We gonna make sure we got him on the page for you guys can see him, because you know we all about trying to teach at the same time for you guys to have the knowledge and you guys can see people a little bit on the YouTube and all that. But go ahead, Unc.
Yeah. Now that is an inspiration to me, because these are the guys that I seek out nowadays. These are the people that I would want to associate with. I don't want to associate with the ones that's continually going back and back and back. Yes, I've had my problems, my issues, because once you have gone there, you're seen in a different light. However, they're going to try to perpetuate that negative. But you just be consistent in doing positive stuff, just such as what we've been doing, and be consistent in fulfilling your dreams to do better and rectify whatever wrong you've done in the past. Then you can break out of that mental prison. But as long as an individual sits around and blames everybody else for their problems, don't want to take no responsibility for self, they'll never break out of it.
Yeah.
They'll become miserable.
Yeah.
And what's that cliche statement? Misery loves company. And nobody wants to be around misery. So it is like a force field that a positive person or an individual who's trying to improve, they don't want to come past that. Because it's like we were talking about. If you are going down in the country and you're going down one of them dirt roads and you get stuck, the best thing for you to do is stop and get somebody to come with a tractor or something and pull you out. Because if you don't stop and you continue to spin your wheels, you're going to dig yourself into a rut. And then once you're in the rut, you're not coming out.
Yeah, you're done.
You're done. You're conditioned. You're stuck. Can't go nowhere.
Yeah, we got a lot of people that's like that, man.
Yes, sir.
My mom is she a sick woman. I don't like to really talk about she's going through some stuff, and she like to sit around. Well, she don't like to. She would like to get out, but she's fighting her box right now because her box consists of just the square. I call it the square. She goes to the hospital. She get in her bed. She get in the car, or the ambulance, go to the hospital. She get in her bed. They fix her or whatever it is. They help her out, whatever. She get a little bit back well enough to go home. She go back home. She go back up her steps. She get back in her bed. And then from her chair to her bed to the bathroom, chair, bed, bathroom, that's pretty much all she do. She gets sick again. She go back to the hospital. Same thing. And so I was like, damn, I'm like, Mom, you so much in a box. We got to get you out this box some type of fucking way. And so I just been praying on it and just having her to eat better and everything, because the anxiety of it, the condition of her lungs and everything have her feeling like she ain't gonna be able to do it. But lately she been trying to fight, man. But she's been in the box so long that I noticed when I took her out in the world and we drove up the highway, man. And it's really pretty. I love to see the stuff on the highway. She closed her eyes the whole ride, man. And then once she got to her destination, she started having a panic attack, which come from her anxiety of not being outside. She had her eyes closed the whole time, man. So she missed all of that beautiful stuff. And she had anxiety when it was time to do what she needed to do, because she just so used to being boxed in for these last pretty much almost 10 years. She come outside a little bit, but on her own. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, this is what she deal with. But so I'm just using that for an example. Mama, don't be mad at me, but it's the truth. It's a box, and that's her box. And I see a lot of people got those boxes, like how they were saying on the Matrix, man. Like some people in their own Matrix, man. I mean, you can create that box, and it can be small as you want it to be. And my mom got a really small box at this moment, and I've been praying for her to get up out of her box so she can see the world. So we actually did a ride, and she did her last little ride she went with me on. She kind of kept her eyes open. She like, I'm gonna see shit, and she was looking, and we drove for like 40 minutes, and she actually looked around, and but some people be scared, man. So what do you call that? Am I saying that right? I know they say she got anxiety, but what do you call it when people just be kind of like scared I guess that's the same thing when they be scared to get out in the world. Kind of like I said about the girl that want to cross the bridge.
Yeah, it's anxiety and a phobia. The other word is phobia. They have a fear of something going wrong outside of their safety zone. And I mean, I don't really know the full solution, because I know one thing: if you're prodding and if you're pushing, they tend to reject that. However, I have tried, or I have the philosophy of being the example. Because look at me, man. I'm sick as hell too. Congestive heart failure, messed up back, messed up hip, need hip replacement. I got coronary artery disease and all this. But one thing I learned is to study and find out what these problems are and what the causes are, and then try to cut those things out. I used to take cholesterol statins, but something, I found out that the body does not produce that cholesterol by itself. I have to put it in me. So if I don't want to take these drugs that have other side effects, then I have to stop doing the things that cause me the problem. And this is where it comes. A lot of people don't want to stop eating a whole bunch of junk. High cholesterol foods, fatty foods, soul food will kill you.
What kind of food? What kind of food?
Soul food. And I know people are going to get upset and they'll say all what they want to say, but who doesn't know in this day and time that all that fat and cholesterol and stuff clogs up your arteries? And over time, it gets worse. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of that stuff can be reversed. Yet it takes discipline. And that's where the problem comes in.
People don't have discipline.
Huh?
People don't have the discipline.
They don't want it. You know, everyone wants the prize, but no one wants to be part of the process. The process is tedious. It's hard. You know, but yeah, I want to be able to put on a bikini and walk out. You know, not me, but I want to be able to put on my bikini again. I was fine, you know, back in the day, and I want to walk on the beach and everybody look at me and tell me how beautiful I am.
Yeah, that's what the women. That's what the women say, y'all, not him.
I don't want to put down all the snacks. You know what I'm saying? It's causing me to be out of shape.
Right.
I don't want to stop doing that. I don't want to stop eating all these cakes and candies and wham whams and zuzus and stuff. So, but I want to look good. So now I'll go to the doctor, cut this off. You know, take this out and all that if I can afford it. But if I can't afford it, then I'm just going to wallow in my misery and blame everyone else. It is you that makes me not want to come out. It's too dangerous out there. There are people who've been living in dangerous St. Louis, my hometown, dangerous St. Louis all their life and never experienced any of the danger that's there. But there are those who have. So we can't use an excuse and say, you know, oh, it's too dangerous. Yeah, we understand that. You can be watchful to a certain extent. And then it also has to do with your faith and your belief. You know, if you truly claim to be Muslim, Christian, or Jew, then you shouldn't be having no fear about all that stuff. Now, you know you don't go in certain places, but why are you in fear? If you claim to believe and you claim to be these titles, so I don't carry no title. I've studied all of them. Okay, so I don't put myself in that box and then click up and start set tripping. You know, denominations, they set trip. We Baptists over here, they Koji. We don't, you know. I'm like, come on, let's cut that out. You're in a box. I thought we were brothers and sisters. Right. So while we're in this box where we can't communicate, we can't go over here and do these different things together. The world, this country, and everything in the other countries were built by people of diverse ethnicities, religions, backgrounds, because they realize they can't stay in their box by themselves.
Yeah, it's don't stay in your box, y'all. If y'all need to talk to somebody, y'all always can reach out to us. Y'all can hit us up on the Facebook, the email, the you know, social media. Leave it under a comment, and we gonna talk, man, because we don't want nobody in no box. We don't want to be boxing. Sometimes you just got to talk that stuff out. Talking it out is good, man. Talking it out is good. Meeting people is good. It's okay to meet people. You know, it's okay to be careful with the people you meet as well. But for sure, we are diversity and meeting new people and building with other people is the goal to life. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think that's the only way we're going to win. And, you know what I'm saying, keep on giving out this good information and all this stuff about mental health, about being boxed in, about teaching another brother or young sister, all of that. That's what this stuff is about. But yeah, go ahead,
Yeah. And we're touching on different subjects, but it's all about getting out of that conditioning. Mental health is very important. More and more now, you know, our people, as black people, are starting to be more conscious and aware of mental health. And it's good to check on people if you know they're having issues, to check on them periodically. You can say, like one of my partners says, I'm doing a mental health check. You all right? You know, and that's a easy way to reach a person. You know, just tell them, man, I'm not trying to say you're crazy or nothing, but you know, your mental state good. You said it to me. You know, I just want to check on you, make sure your mind and everything is still there. Your mental health is good, because people go through a lot of things, and they can break you all the way down. They can turn you into an evil person. Like I was saying yesterday, I spent over an hour talking to a detective who refused or claims that he doesn't have enough information to bring charges, but he does. Okay, so he's going to continue to make his excuses and say he can't do this, he can't do that, but the evidence is there. And we argued for an hour. So he told me he'll call me back today. But he's using excuses. And we have to be careful about that. People are more angry nowadays than they normally are, because we went through the COVID where we had no choice but to kind of lock down and isolate. But hey, we don't have to do that now. We didn't really have to do it then if we wore a mask and were clean and not around people who are just don't care about their health. Well, check on your people. Make sure that they are okay, that they're feeling all right, because everybody has their ups and downs. It takes a lot of work to stay positive. It's not an easy task in this world today.
No, it's not.
It takes work, and you got to put that work in. That's like going to work out to build up your body. You know, you have to do it, meditating, praying, and contemplating, and refining your mind and your spirit and your energy, cleansing yourself. All these things are key in order to get yourself out of a mental imprisonment. And like that song stated, free your mind and your ass will follow. That's a true statement.
Free your mind and your ass will follow.
Yes, sir. It will. If you free your mind, but as long as you're in prison, your ass is going to sit right on. It's going to sit right on your ass. That's it.
Yeah, man. God. Thinking outside the box is a metaphor that means to think differently, unconventionally, or from a new perspective. The phrase also often refers to a novel of creative thinking.
Yes.
Thinking outside the box, though, y'all. That's, having a different outlook on stuff is what we're talking about today. Mental imprisonment. Yeah, that's what we're talking about today, y'all.
Mentally, not physically.
Is thinking outside the box a skill?
Yeah, it's a skill that's developed. I mean, it's not something that comes overnight. I mean, maybe some people, I don't know for certain. I couldn't say for certain that no one is born with that mentality to think outside the box, because, there's a strong possibility there are people who are born that way. They just think outside the box. They see things differently. However, you have to develop that skill, especially if you've been conditioned to think only one way.
Yep.
You have to build them skills. You have to have that desire.
Yeah. I asked Google a question. I say, and so we got like 8 ways to think outside the box, y'all. Do a brain bump. You know what a brain bump is?
A brain bump? No, I don't. What is a brain bump?
Do a brain bump.
Sound like the bump we used to do back in the 60s and 70s.
The dance and stuff, huh?
Yeah, you heard the
It's
bump?
a noun, the act or an instant of comprehensively and uncritically expressing and recording one's thought and ideal as on a particular topic.
Mm-hmm. Critical thinking.
Yeah.
We had that in college. Critical thinking, critical writing, all that stuff. And you have to see things differently. And there's an example that they put in that book, Critical Thinking. They show George Bush and King Fahd from Saudi Arabia walking together out in the grass, and they were holding hands. So the experiment was asking each individual what their interpretation of that was.
Okay.
Majority of us got it wrong.
Right. Let me read this to you.
Okay.
Basically, because you asked me and I had to make sure I let you know. Basically, a brain bump is the act of writing down everything that comes to mind on a particular topic. You know, so just basically, you know, it's a way to get all of your thoughts and ideas down on paper and free up some space in your brain. Basically,
okay,
you kind of using that piece of paper as your hard drive. You know, to kind of unclog the brain. So 8 ways to think outside of the box is you want to do a brain bump first, and then the second thing you want to do is you want to widen your scope of relevance.
Can I pause you for a second?
Go ahead.
Because brain bump is a different term, which we use brainstorming.
Yeah, brainstorming.
Same thing as brain bump. I just didn't recognize that terminology. Because brainstorming, we do that all the time with coming up with a name for a business, coming up with goals.
That's what it say. That's what it say. A brainstorming is an exercise. Brainstorming exercise is an active intent to help people come up with new ideas. Yep, exactly what you said.
Yes, I just didn't recognize the terminology that you use, that they use.
Right.
But it's the same thing, brainstorming.
And okay, we got number 3. We got box yourself in with a timer. Work backwards from the goals. 4.
Okay.
Work backwards from the goal. Do you think that's good to box yourself in with a timer? Like, oh, the time rang. It's time to get up out of here.
Yes, that is very important because of the fact that time is all we have for real. Everything else is obsolete. You know, the past doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
The future hasn't made it yet, so we only have this present. So we have to be on point with our timing, make our time valuable.
Right. Number 4, work backwards from the goal. What does you think work backwards from the goal mean?
It's a visualization tactic.
Okay.
You see in yourself through to the end.
Okay,
so
got you.
Go to the end. They do it with memory mapping and all that stuff. If you ever watch the NBA players, I'll give you one who
Excuse me, y'all.
Malone. If you ever watched him when he's getting ready to shoot free throws, he always mumbling something.
Self-talk.
Okay. It's a process they call. It's kind of like memory mapping. What they do is they'll take one of them and then have them to get up. They'll have them to remember everything that they did from the time they woke up in the morning till they hit that successful free throw. You follow me? Now, they map that out, and then they cut it down to a shorter time, 10 to 30 seconds. If you ever watch Allen Iverson, when he did his free throws, and he was pretty good, he always did 1, 2, 3 bounces in the front and a bounce to the side, and he pull the ball back, and he mumble a little something, and go up and shoot. That is that whole thing. The goal was to hit the free throw, successful free throw. So he worked all the way back from that successful free throw and the cheers, hey, all the way back to when he got up in the morning. Everything he did, that was a successful.
Backwards, he was working backwards from the goal. That's number 4. So
yes.
We on number 4, y'all, and number 5 is ask someone outside your field.
Exactly, that's the best. One of the things that I did most when I was young, I'd ask questions. Like I met a lot of people when I had the cable company, when we had our cable company, such as met the vice president of Warner Brothers. And one of the things that he gave me was to just stick to whatever it is that you're trying to do, regardless of how many doors get shut. Because I was trying to be in entertainment back then, but when you take music to those big record labels like Capitol and Warner Brothers, etc., when you take your demos to them, oftentimes the receptionist or someone on the lower level will throw it. If they don't like it, it's going in the garbage can. Okay, so my method was, when I met successful people like that, I would ask them hard questions. What was the most difficult part of you making it to where you are? What obstacles did you have to overcome? And as we go on with these podcasts, I'll talk about a few of these people that I've met over my lifetime that are very influential people. I've even met the first black first chair violinist of the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. He's my buddy. We still communicate to this day. But he tells his story, because they are under auditions where they're blind auditions. People can't see you. So you got to beat a whole bunch of people just with your raw talent. And then when the curtains came up and he walked out front, everybody in their jaws just dropped, simply because they did not expect to see him.
Yeah, right, exactly what you said. Yeah, we St. Louis to Texas, you know what I'm saying? We connected, you know what I'm saying, in real time. Shout out to Critical, and shout out to the birds in the background. We talking real conversation. We talking real. We in studio and we outside. We from St. Louis all the way to Texas, and in between. You know what I'm saying? Everybody tap in with us. Keep going.
Yeah, building unity to teach another. It takes unity. It takes more than just us.
You hear that bird? The bird even telling you it's take more than us.
Oh man, I love my birds.
I love it too, man. So yeah, the people need to hear that, because guess what? That can help them get outside of the box, man, because that's letting them know that it's more out here than them four walls that they stuck in. Let's go to number 5.
Yes.
Okay, number 5 was ask someone outside your field. Number 6 is ask a child.
Yes. That's the most important. We counsel them. But you know something? Each generation is far more advanced than the generation before them.
Yep. Facts. Because that's why, like, when we be saying, like, damn, that baby's smart. Like, I just seen the baby on Instagram or Twitter or one of them TikToks or something. The baby was like 6 months old, saying words off of paper. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow.
Yes, I see those. I always like those, share them, and do this because I want to encourage, particularly the younger generation, because they are the future.
They're the future. Okay, let's go to number 7. Number 7 is solve someone else's problem. Problem solve for someone else. Problem solve for someone else. Let me say it like that. That's number 7. So what do you think about problem solve for someone else?
That's good if you really want to be into that.
Yeah, that's why you want to get outside of the box. This is 8 ways to get outside the box. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you definitely get outside the box solving someone else's problem. But the problem with that is you have to learn another skill with making sure that person knows, and you keep it in mind that it's their problem, it's not yours. When you take it on as your problem, then you have a problem instead of them.
Right, so probably box you in some more. So
exactly.
Right, so let's go to this last one. Brainstorm with colleagues, like kind of like what we're doing.
Prime example.
Yeah. Prime example. So yeah, I appreciate everybody, and I hope that you guys got a little information. We're gonna make sure we got all 8 of these things posted up on the video that you can go see on YouTube. You're gonna be able to hear it on all these different sites. We on like 5 or 6 different sites. I know we on Spotify, YouTube, we on all of the other stuff. So yeah, go ahead, Unc, and get us up out of here.
Okay, well, I want to make sure y'all go out and check out Andy Williams, man, because that brother is a inspirational. That story, you read the story, and you'll see what I mean about not allowing yourself to become in a mental prison. And once again, I thank everyone who listens, responds, interact with us at butter, building unity to teach another, because it's an inevitable return to something.
There it is. And hey, Unc, let him know the name of the podcast.
It is the inevitable return to butter, building unity to teach another.
All right, y'all. We'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure y'all share it to a friend, Make sure y'all subscribe, like, follow, repost, whatever you got to do. Peace.
Peace.